don't let society make you feel like you are powerless and you need them and you need to follow everything they do and do everything the doctors say. Like, do your own research. And I'm telling you, the research and taking the time to do that is so much more worth it than just, you know, giving up your power to a doctor and just doing whatever they like. When you know what you're talking about, a doctor cannot finesse you. Hi YouTube, I'm back on here with another video, and today's video is going to be about my health journey and my story with health and weight loss and things like that. I just want to start off with my family's history. Basically, I wasn't always this size. I was pretty big. I was always big as a kid. So growing up, I had a Southern mom and a Puerto Rican dad, and my mom kind of infused the foods together because she would make things for like my dad and she would make things for herself. So we had a lot of unhealthy foods in our lives. My mom would make chitlins. She would make a lot of pork things. We drank a lot of soda. We always had Pepsi in the crib. My dad was very unhealthy. My mom, my family, like we just grew up eating like crazy unhealthy foods. And me, I wasn't a big meat eater, but I still ate very unhealthily. I was eating bacon and cheese in the morning with soda, with candy in the morning, because my mom would just kind of like give me money. So she would just give me the money and be like, yeah, go do your thing. And I would go out and be a kid and buy all these crazy kind of foods and, you know, all types of things. So I was always a big kid. Like I was always a big girl. Even as an adult, my diet still didn't change too much. Like I still ate very unhealthily. There was a time where I had lost my family's home. I had been very depressed, so I started to eat even more worse. I would eat like a pint of ice cream a day. I was working at Five Guys. I was eating a lot of greasy food. I was eating burgers and fries all the time, milkshakes. Like it was crazy. My highest weight was when I was working at Five Guys, so I had gained about 211 pounds. I was over 200 pounds. That's when I started to get health problems. Out of nowhere, I had got like this really sharp pain, this really like bad attack, and I had been going to the doctor for it, and I would get them like occasionally, and I found out that I had gallstones. Gallstones is basically these stones that form from like bad diet and cholesterol, bad cholesterol, all these things that form in your gallbladder. So I had got that, and I kept getting attacks from that. From there, I was like, okay, I kind of got to change things up. I have to do something about it. And at the doctor, I was supposed to get my gallbladder actually removed, and something just didn't feel right to me. Like I'm just very finicky about doctors, so just something didn't feel right to me, so I just didn't get it. Like something told me just don't get it. I had set up the appointment, everything, y'all. Like I had set it up and all that, and I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not getting it. So I never got it. So then I continued to, you know, I wasn't eating too crazy, but then I started working at Macy's, and my diet changed. Once I got to Macy's, I got a little bit more healthier. I started opening myself up to different foods, like just salad. I was eating overnight oats. I was, you know, diving more into like more healthier, more plant-based foods or whatever. But I was still eating meat and things like that. Like, I was still eating meat and stuff. I got a little better. I wasn't having the attacks as often. So I was like, okay, you know, we doing something. I started losing a little weight. Like we was getting somewhere. I also started working out and things like that or whatever. And it was cool. Like I was again starting to eat a little bit more healthier, thinking about things, getting veggies in, like stuff like that. So then that's when COVID hit. So 2020 came, COVID hit, and I was sitting down a lot. I wasn't very active. So I was sitting down all the time because I mean, we was in the crib, we was quarantining. So I was sitting down, and I also wasn't eating that healthy either. I was eating a lot of fried foods. I mean, I was using the air fryer a lot, but I was still eating like not so well, eating a lot more than usual because I was just in the house just doing nothing. So eating a lot more and things like that. So that's when I started to get this pain in my leg. It was a really, really bad pain. Mind you, I had the pain already when I was working, but then COVID, sitting down all the time, being sedentary, that made it worse. So it was bad. Like I could barely walk. I was bent over like a hunchback or something. Like it was crazy. Like it was so painful. I could barely walk. Like my friends, even when we would go out and stuff like that, like they'd be like, oh my god, like why are you walking like that? Like, and I would just be so embarrassed. Like it was so bad. I had been going to the doctor to get them to like tell me what the pain was and tell me what it was, but with the doctors, which annoys me so much, was they kept giving me extra steps to do before they even gave me the MRI, which they should have just gave me the MRI in the first place. I mean, I get like maybe they just trying to say like it wasn't that serious, but it was serious because I was in pain. So they should just gave me the MRI straight so we could find out what it was. But they was giving me the runaround, so they kept telling me to take this. Then they was like go to physical therapy. Then they was like go here. Like they were just giving me the runaround when they could have just told me to get the MRI in the first place. So during COVID, I really couldn't go to a doctor or whatever. So I started doing research on my own. So I was researching my symptoms. I was looking up like what the pain could be. I was trying to figure out my anatomy. Like I was doing all this research. I'm really a research person. Like if I want to find out something, I'm going to look in depth, especially if it's at my expense. Like if I'm in pain, I'm trying to fix something, I'm gonna research. So I started doing all this research. I was researching my symptoms. I was looking up like ways to fix it. I had found like these YouTubers. They was like talking about like how to fix your back pain and all that stuff. And then I eventually from Google, I had came to the conclusion that I had a herniated disc that was pushing onto my sciatica nerve, which was going all the way down my left leg. It was going all the way down. So I had discovered that, and I had figured that out. Finally, they gave me the MRI, and I got to the MRI, and that's exactly what it was. So I already knew what it was before they diagnosed me. I was doing so much research, so I already knew what it was. So the pain was really bad. They told me what it was, and I was like, okay. And they was like, yeah, you have to get surgery. It's either you put some steroids in or you get surgery. I didn't really want the steroids, so I was like, okay, honestly, this is so painful, I'm gonna get surgery. I was thinking about getting this surgery, so I started like looking up, you know me, because I'd be looking up shit. So I started looking up stuff. Basically, I came across this article that mentioned this doctor who was like, oh, he was doing those surgeries for herniated discs, but then he would do the surgeries and the person would like, they would get worse over time, or they wouldn't necessarily be fixed, because all he was doing was removing the disc. That was the surgery I was supposed to do, was to get the disc removed. But when it comes to the body, once you start to remove things, the other parts of the body have to compensate. And so basically these patients that he was working on, he was removing them and the surgery was successful, but the body would have to compensate for a missing disc, or the spine would have to compensate for like something not being there. And so it just brought up other problems, and things just started to get crazy with his patients. And so he actually stopped performing that type of surgery because he didn't feel good about it. You know, he didn't like hearing about his patients that, you know, other things started happening, or other problems, you know, like, which I'm not sure if that was, you know, he was doing a botched job, but that was enough for me to be like, I'm not getting it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to figure it out. So I started looking up other people who may have had the same problem as me. I was looking on YouTube. I was looking everywhere, like, you know, to see who, you know, who else was experiencing this. Was I the only one? And I came across, you know, a couple people. I was also figuring out that a lot of the problem was inflammation, so I started drinking this green juice that was good for inflammation. Like, I was looking at foods that was good for inflammation, things like that. So I came across this girl on YouTube. I forgot her YouTube. I think I'm gonna try to find it and like link it below. But I found her YouTube, and she had this video, and she was about around the same age as me when she had the problem. So I didn't feel like too bad about it, because I was feeling bad. I'm like, I'm only 26. Like, why I got back problems? Like, I'm not old. Like, I'm only 26. This is crazy. But she also was around the same age as me, which was really nice to know, like, I'm not alone. But the most important part of when she was talking about like how to fix it was the belief part. She literally was like, that is the first step. Like, you have to believe that you're going to be able to fix it. Like, there is no, like, you have to believe it. You have to like get in that mindset. So that was really, really important to me. So I started to believe it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna visualize like myself being healed. I'm gonna, you know, really believe that this could happen. So I'm gonna look up the stuff. And then I went to the doctor one day, and I had asked my doctor, like, does he know any good chiropractors? Like, does he know anybody? And he referred me to literally the most perfect chiropractor. I'm also gonna link the chiropractor below, because he's amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna link him down below, because he's a great chiropractor. So I loved him so much. He was like so aligned with me, because he would be like working on my body, and he would be like, yeah, you gotta believe, like, you gotta visualize it being healed. Like, he would tell me about other patients that like they had problems, and then they visualized like themselves, like they kept telling themselves they was gonna fix it and it would be fixed. Like, he was just on point. Like, he was just like, that was the perfect chiropractor for me. So I started visualizing myself. Like, I would visualize him saying like, Bianca, you're healed. Like, oh, it's so much better. Like, I would visualize like the disc going back into like my spine. Like, I would visualize everything. I would tell my body like, you're so strong. You're like, I literally kept doing this like every single day, and over time, like, it just helped. Like, and then also along with me changing my diet. So I ended up changing my diet. I ended up eating more vegetables, eating more greens. I had this really huge green drink that I found on YouTube, so I was doing that. I was really just getting a lot of plant-based foods into my diet, and that really would help. So on top of me changing my diet and then going to this chiropractor, it just accelerated the healing process, and I was able to heal all of that. And I haven't had an attack in so long. I did not get my gallbladder removed. I did not get the stone removed. I did not get any surgeries or anything, and I haven't had any problems whatsoever since I've changed my diet and like got into more exercise and moving and stretching and things like that I learned from the chiropractor. So it's been really, really amazing. And yeah, 211 pounds. My weight loss journey is a little bit like separate. I was 211 pounds, and I have a long history of like trying to lose weight. So like, there would be periods where I was like exercising a lot, and then I lost it, and then I gained it, and then exercising a lot, and then lost and gained. You know, there was a period where I was really about it. So I had just become vegan. So this was around 2021. I had just become vegan. I had started going to the gym a lot. I was going at 5 in the morning. I was 211. I had got down to about like 170, like, you know, from when I started working at Macy's and I started eating like a little better, but I still was a little big. I was still like 170. And then there was a point where that's when I went vegan. I had started going to the gym 5 in the morning. I was going faithfully, and then I had dropped down to about 148, 150 or whatever, in that range. I remember I spoke about it on my Instagram, and that was when I felt like, okay, we really did it. Now I definitely gained from then as well. I'm not 148 or 150 around, like I'm not 150 right now. I definitely gained from then. I have lost from gaining that time. Like I just had this up and down journey with weight loss because it's been so many years, but I feel like I'm at a very good point to where like I can maintain, like I really understand the way calories and like things like that work, and like, you know, the amount of nutrition you need, like, and like maintaining, like I kind of understand that a little better now. So I'm pretty good with like maintaining it, keeping it to a place where I like it and where I'm in love with my body. So that's really been a great journey for me when it comes to weight loss, because I'm at a good point right now where I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then if I ever want to jump back into it, I have the habits and the knowledge that I need to get back into it. I definitely do a separate video that's more in depth of like what I actually did, because I really was on it. Like I used to write down stuff. I used to calculate things, food scale, everything. So I could definitely do an in-depth video. Let me know if y'all would like that. But yeah, that's like a whole separate thing. But this one I want to just talk more about like actual health issues that I was dealing with. So like I said earlier, I had the gallstones, I had a herniated disc, and those were very, very painful things. But the whole point of this is to understand that you can heal yourself. Like if you really like take the time to research and really like have a belief that you can do it, like you can actually do it. Like it can be done. Like don't let society make you feel like you are powerless and you need them and you need to follow everything they do and do everything the doctors say. Like do your own research. And I'm telling you, the research and taking the time to do that is so much more worth it than just, you know, giving up your power to a doctor and just doing whatever like when you know what you're talking about. A doctor cannot finesse you. They cannot tell you some bullshit. They cannot tell you some other shit. Like you will literally know what you're talking about. And then, and I'm not saying to write doctors off completely, because, you know, obviously you need blood work and stuff like that, but when you know what you're talking about, you will not get finessed. Like, because people are getting finessed all the time, getting told to take this and they don't even need that, but because these people want their insurance. Like when you know what you're talking about, you can go in, you can figure it out yourself. When you understand your body, it's just so much more worth it. For me, I developed better habits for my body. I developed, you know, a knowledge of my anatomy. I developed a knowledge of, you know, how things may work. And I just feel like that's been, again, the thing that has been so worth it to me in the process of healing myself. And things take time, but again, so much, just worth it. It's just worth it. I became very empowered due to that. You know, now I can go to a doctor and I can be like, well, I don't want that. And, you know, but I want this. Or I already know this. Don't try to tell me this. Like, you know, I can do that. And I just feel like everybody should be able to do that. I'm not the pinnacle of health. I'm not the most healthiest person. I still indulge. I still eat, you know, whatever I kind of want to eat. I be drinking, like, you know, so I'm not the pinnacle of health, but I've definitely have changed my health in tremendous ways. I have healed my body in tremendous ways. I have developed habits that will stay with me forever. I have developed knowledge that will stay with me forever. And I will continue to learn about my body and, you know, my health and things like that. And I will continue to pour into myself in that way. So I definitely recommend that for other people. If you want to know more about herniated disc, I mean, I don't know if you want to know about that, but you could look it up. It's a very crazy kind of thing that happens when, like, you don't like over time, when your diet's not good, you don't like pay attention to your posture. Like it's just crazy. And then gallstones, you know, again, that's diet, that's all that stuff. So if y'all want to look more into those things and you know how you could prevent them, I would definitely recommend. I'm so grateful to have learned all these things, have done all these things, and to be able to share it with you guys. I think that I went through that to be able to share it and to be able to tell other people my story and, you know, give you guys tips that may prevent things like that from happening to you. Or if you've experienced the same things as me, you know you're not alone. I literally am a person who has been through these things, and I can tell you, you know, how I fixed myself. And so I'm actually grateful that those things happened to me, because I feel like they happen for a reason and they happen for me to learn and share. And so that's what I'm doing here with you guys today. I hope this was a great story. I hope you got to know a little bit more about me and, you know, my journey with everything and why I'm pretty much plant-based and why I eat the way I eat and why I am the way I am. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.